Hello, everyone. This is Misa Hopkins, and thank you so much for being here today. I'm really excited that you are joining us in this special call because today we will be talking about something that is, how to say, really, really powerful. It's the sacred sound, healing with sacred sounds. And more specifically, we'll be talking about 3 ways for us to find this freedom from doubt, freedom from anxiety, and also from pain. And we can do that like through sound healing. So for that, I'm so honored that Misa Hopkins joined us today on the show to share with us her wisdom, to share with us her gift of sound medicine, and also her journey, because her journey with sound healing started 20 years ago. And today she will be sharing with us some of her real life stories that really show the true power of sacred sounds. And so I'm really excited about what she will be sharing with us, and also maybe she will take us through an exercise. So stay tuned for that. And so for those of you who are not yet familiar with Misa, she is one of the most intuitive healing teachers, and she is a best-selling author. And also she taught hundreds of healers. And so before I introduce her, I just want to remind you that we will also have a Q&A today. So you can ask Misa your questions. And for those of you who are already here, just a reminder, you can connect with us and ask your question by pressing *2 on your phone or the web call. And for those of you on the webcast page, you can type in your questions on the question box. All right. So with that, Misa, I want to welcome you to the show. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, Seth, thank you for asking. This is one of my favorite topics in the whole world. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to chat with you about it.
Yeah, it's really our pleasure to have you and learn from you. I'm so excited about what you will be sharing with us. And maybe before we start talking about that, I would love maybe if you can share with us a little bit about your story, how it started, because there is a story behind this. Like, it started with your mother, and I would love if you can share with us.
There's nothing like love to shake things loose in your life.
Hello, Misa? Hello?
Okay. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you now.
Okay. Good. It's wonderful that we can connect, this far across continents, but sometimes the technology,
it's not really happens sometimes.
A little bit. Yeah. So my mother was the one that helped me find sacred sound. I was healing deeply emotionally, and I had left my family for a little while and said, I need to just go in. And my family was very kind and respectful and let me do that. But they didn't understand why. And I got a call about a year or two later, and I hadn't contacted my family in all that time. And he said that Mom was dying and she had about a week to live. Would I be willing to come home and see her? And I said, well, of course. And I had done a lot of deep emotional healing, and I was really ready to hold space for my mother, which was what she needed. So I got to the hospital, and the doctors were informed that I was coming home, sort of the prodigal daughter, returning. And they didn't know how she was going to respond emotionally. So they gave her an extra shot of morphine, and she was a little drowsy. But we had one of the best conversations that we had ever had in our lives. Lots of love and lots of forgiveness.
Yeah.
And then the morphine took her out. She was asleep. And I did with my mother what I had been doing ever since I was a little girl. I just started humming whatever came to me. Not a song that I knew, just humming. And this beautiful ancient Native American chant came through. And my mother was part Native American and had never explored her native roots.
Yeah.
but something touched her because she was crying as she was listening. And the next thing I knew, I was seeing inside of my mother's body. And the doctors didn't know what was wrong. They didn't want to do any surgery because she was so weak.
Yeah.
But I could see that her bronchial tubes were infected. And so my mind asked her spirit, what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this beautiful green light fill her. Her whole chest was this gorgeous green light. It eventually became white light, and then it went away. And just minutes later, my sister, the only other woman in the family, came in and sat down, and the three of us were holding hands in the silence, which has never happened before and never happened since. Our family is not quiet, you know. So shortly after that, my entire family is in my mother's room. There's 6 kids and their spouses and grandkids and my father, and we're all crammed in her room, and we are loud and noisy and laughing and having a great time. My mother, Monsef, is sitting up in bed, and her cheeks are full of color, her eyes are full of light, and she was healthy. So the doctor was very surprised. I kept her for 1 day of observation and then sent her home. And that's how I learned about what sound could really do. That it really can restore our lives.
Wow, that's really, really amazing. It's like we hear some stories, but when we hear it like directly from you who experienced that, it's really it touched deep within us, and really feel this power of the sound, because what happens is it's really powerful. So that's amazing. And yeah, so Misa, so you are teaching like the sound healing, like with sacred sounds, and maybe if we can start talking maybe in the beginning in general about that, like because you are teaching like there's a unique sound signature that people can use.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love if you can maybe talk about that, so we can have this understanding.
Yes. It was something I learned a little bit later, that every person has their own unique sound signature. And I discovered that because I was singing to so many people. and you know, there are similarities for sure, but there's an imprint that is uniquely yours. And when you find those sounds and you anchor into them, they transform your life very gently. It sometimes is surprising how gentle it is, but it is shifting who we are, because it's reminding us that we are divine.
Yes.
So every one of us has a life song that is our thread, and when we sing it, when we play it in our minds, it's giving a sense of strength and purpose about who we are. So in fact, I have a page that shows several different songs that live inside people. So the viewers later on can take a look, if they like, at misahopkins.com/sound, and you'll see that there are numerous songs. And when I say a song, by the way, I should be clear, I'm not talking about a song with words. I'm talking about a song that is a series of vowel sounds, maybe consonants. In Native American traditions, we call them vocables. So there are consonants and vowels, but those aren't words. They don't have a meaning like saying my hand, you know. It's not like that. They do have meaning, but it's a meaning that's deeper to our soul. So we have songs that are comfort songs, for example, that are made from our signature sounds. And we have about 3 to 4 sounds that are part of our life song. And then from those sounds, there are other medicine songs, like a comfort song. I discovered the comfort song when I was very, very depressed and I was feeling suicidal. And I would be driving or going for a walk, and I would say, I want comfort, I want to feel better. And this little song would play inside me. Now, when I was happy, if I tried to think of my comfort song, I couldn't get it. I couldn't remember it. But when I was very sad, that comfort song was there for me. And that is the nature of medicine songs, whether it's a song for strength, it's a song for prosperity, a song for attracting your mate, a song for comfort, a song for healing. We have all these beautiful medicine songs inside of us.
So yeah, that's really wonderful. So we have maybe like a unique sound for each maybe thing that we want to create, like for, as you said, for prosperity, for healing, for relationships. So there's sound specific for each one of them.
Yes. Most people focus on songs for their life or songs for healing, but there are actually many, many songs that we can access. And they're based in these signature sounds. I can show you how to get to a signature sound if you like.
Yeah, it would be wonderful. Yeah, of course.
All right. So very simple. We're going to close our eyes because we want to go into the silence. All the sound is born from the silence. And just breathe into this moment. And I'm going to invite you to do something with me, and that is to sigh out loud, because everybody knows how to sigh, right? We don't have to be singers to sigh. Yes, repeat after me. Ah. Did you do that? Beautiful. And one more time, this time, go a little higher and a little lower just for the fun of it. Excellent. All right. I'm going to do it one more time. And I'm going to land on my note. And this is a note that feels like home to me. When you do it, you land on a note that feels like home to you. And just hold it for a moment. And anyone watching, you do the same thing. Land on a note that feels like home to you and hold it for just a few seconds. So it'll go like this. Doesn't matter what vowel sound I'm making. I can make whatever vowel I want. Or just good. Keep going. The sound that feels like home to you. Good. One more time. Excellent. Now be still in the silence and notice how you feel. And then take a couple of nice breaths. Yeah, it's good to blow through your mouth. It helps you come back to the earth. One more time. Inhale, exhale through your mouth. Good. And very gently open your eyes. So how are you feeling?
I'm doing great.
You were doing great before the call, though.
No, that was really beautiful. Like there was like some stillness, like it's sense of stillness and peace when I did it. When with the sound, when it was longer, it was like better than, than when just sigh like shortly.
Yeah. Did you notice any part of your body while you were making this?
It was like in the beginning, like my head, like maybe you can say tingling.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I felt in the beginning. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Good. Good. And as you do this, you can give yourself permission to hold the sound that you land on for a long time, like a whole minute, and then be still and quiet for a minute and notice what happens inside of your body and in your mind. And then do it again. So I might land on a different sound, right? I think it's only an octave or two above that heart sound. For me, that's a heart sound, and I really, really like it. But you have a whole range of sounds that you can play with, and there will be a few, about 3 of them, that are very appealing to you. And just listen to each one, feel them, most importantly, and then be still. And you'll find that similar sounds, you're drawn to similar sounds throughout the day. Your speaking voice reflects those same sounds, by the way. Women often have a little high-pitched one when we're really laughing. But frequently we're operating, you can hear my voice going up and down, we're operating within just a few sounds. And those are the sounds you want to connect more deeply with. Then you can allow those 3 sounds to teach you and show you. And many people have significant mystical experiences just within their signature sounds. That's how powerful they are. So we played a little bit today, but I want to invite you to take it even deeper when you're on your own.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's really amazing. I love it. And so we don't need like to have maybe a great voice like your beautiful voice. So it's easy, and if I can do it, so everyone can do it.
That's right. That's right. In fact, Monsef, I was trained. I had initial training in opera, so I sing beautifully, very easily. And some of my early training with a healing teacher was to be able to make ugly sounds, like that was the first ugly sound I made. To me, that was ugly at the time, right? And I was sweating, I was so hot, I was so scared, and then the sound came out. And by the time we finished it, I sounded like this magnificent bird. The sounds for healing are not the same as sounds for singing. I had to learn sound singing. So if you're not a really great singer, you have an advantage because it's easier to just access the sounds of nature and the sounds that are inside you. Since then, I've made sounds that I didn't even know the human voice could make. There are times when you want a really gravelly sound. That's the appropriate sound that shakes things up. You probably felt that. Shakes things up. You want that sometimes. And occasionally you want a sound that's as angelic as you can make it, right? Oh, that's so pleasing. It feels so good. You need both. And there are times when we need the sounds of our anger, you know, or our sorrow. Oh, or just our contentment. Oh, we need them all. All those sounds are expressing our reality as divine beings. They are all part of the medicine. So just so that anybody who's afraid of singing, thinking, oh, but I can't sing, just to clarify this, and you don't have to be some master wizard with sound. One of my students was teaching her 3-year-old boy how to use Reiki when he got cut or hurt, and how to use sound. So he's 3 years old. He was an active little guy. He was always moving around and dizzy. So his dad, one day when they were out at the park, sprained his ankle badly. And he managed to get them home, and he was laying down with some ice on his ankle. And his little boy came in and said, "Dad, can I do some sound healing for you?" Ted said, "Sure, go ahead." He sat down, he put his little hands on his dad's ankle and made one sound for 5 minutes. One sound. It came from his little heart. For 5 minutes, that's a long time for anybody, especially a child of that age. The next day, Ted told me, I was walking around the house as if nothing had happened. His brain was healed. 5 minutes of heart-centered sound. So if a 3-year-old can do it, if I can learn how to make weird sounds, if you can make a sound on video,
I get it.
we all can.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. It's really amazing to hear like such stories, like the one you shared about you and your mother before, and this one about the little kid. I don't know. It's really it gives this trust. That's really anything is possible, and we can do it with ourselves because the kid did it with his own voice, so we can do it too. So I think this is very very inspiring. Yeah. And yeah. So yeah, you want to say something or?
Go ahead, ask your question. I will wait.
Yeah. So just to talk a little bit about our topic today, because we are talking about how to get free from pain and anxiety and doubt, and like how the sacred sounds can help us to do this, because there's maybe like the pain or the anxiety, there are maybe symptoms as the result of something that is within us, the root cause. So does it help us to heal that root cause?
That's right, they do. What's wonderful about the sounds is that they go beyond our thoughts and our words. So when we're working with a sound, we're going right into our soul, the nature of our divinity, as that soul has lived through childhood. For those who believe in past lives, it will take you into your past lives or future lives. It's just without the constraints of dimension and time. So it's right. Remember, in the beginning, the sound. So we're going right into the first expression of the divine when we connect through sound. The reason that it works so well with our doubts, our anxiety, our pain, is that at the core of doubt, anxiety, and pain is our fear. And the fundamental fear is that somehow we're not worthy of that divine love. Somehow we've done something, or we've experienced something that has separated us from that divine love. When we give ourselves permission to sound what we are experiencing and feeling, it honors that part of us. So, for example, I was abused as a child. And very early in my sound healing, the sounds I wanted to make were sounds of anger. Remember, I did that. Well, I did it a lot louder than we're doing it here, with a lot more energy. When I honored my anger that way, not projected at another person, not projected inward at me as though I'd done something wrong, but just the anger of that feeling of injustice, then my emotions started to rest. And when I could sing the songs of sorrow, that keening or wailing, oh, it honors the experience as a divine experience, as part of this whole soul's experience. When those sounds are expressed, and they're very natural, by the way, I've done this with hundreds and hundreds of people, and they will very quickly go from one sound, say of anger, into sorrow, into peace automatically, or from a sorrow into anger. It's usually one or the other, into peace. And it's from that state of peace that we're able to remember we sigh, because that's a state of peace. Takes us into a state of peace and rest. There are happier, joyful sounds that naturally emerge in time. When we trust in the sounds that are within us, we basically reunite with the divine, or with love. And it's profoundly simple. I call it a sound wave pattern, because if I block that anger, it's congested and constricted in my body. It creates pain. It creates fear. And that fear creates doubt that says, I can't trust them. Oh, maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Wait a minute, who am I to think I know anything about, right? These are the ways in which we express our doubt and our anxiety. And That expresses as pain in our bodies and depression emotionally. So when we create a safe container for ourselves, that might be alone, and especially in cases of anxiety, that might be with someone we trust, a therapist, a healer, and we let ourselves feel deeply what we are feeling and just honor it. Then all of the protective devices that we have, right, to keep us feeling happy, just relax. We don't have to protect anymore. We can be authentically who we are. And that can be a divine, sacred sound, and it is. Once it's released, then the divine sounds we really want to feel, experience, and know in our lives, they naturally emerge. That's when you naturally sound beautiful, because you are, and you're remembering that you are. There's nothing, no limit, no fear between you and the divine. So that's what I teach people how to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's yeah, go ahead.
So just to find those sounds and trust them. And trust them.
Yeah, that's really amazing. It's what you said is really profound, because you talked about like honoring like each part of us, about our human aspects, like because there is some self-judgment about anger, about sadness. But what you said, it's really important, like to feel what we are experiencing without like maybe reflecting it on others or judging others or ourselves, but just expressing this anger, this sadness, this doubt through sound, and letting this energy like move, because it's like the rainbow. Each color, like it's the sum of all the colors that give us the rainbow. So when we honor all aspects of ourselves as human being and also divine being, this is where the beauty that we can create.
Yes, yes, and that anger and that sorrow is trying to protect us, so we don't get hurt again. But it also is the voice of that pain from the past that wants to be acknowledged. If I acknowledge you, it's like, and I say the anger that I'm feeling through sound, I name it. It no longer has power over me. I name it. I see it as real and true. But if I try to hold it in, I try to ignore it, it has power over me, because it's screaming inside of me attention. So then I'm praying and praying and praying. Oh, I want to know the divinity of me. But actually, that is part of my divine nature as a human being, right?
Yeah.
So when I honor it, there is a tremendous freedom that awakens inside of us. And we don't have to figure anything out. It's just right there. It's so beautiful to see how simple it really is. And to trust in that divine relationship. We had those feelings for a reason. They're valid.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. It really gave us a great sense of release, like when we just be present with whatever arises. So yeah, thank you so much, Lisa. And yeah, Lisa. So would you like maybe to receive some questions from the audience?
Love to.
Okay, wonderful. So a reminder for our audience, for those of you on the phone or Skype or the web call, you can raise your hand by pressing *2 to ask your question. And for those of you on the webcast page, which is yourdivineuniqueness.com/live, you can type in your questions on the question box. All right, so we have a caller from Austin, Texas. Phone number ending with 1223.
Okay, I'll give that a try. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. What is your name?
Okay, bye-bye.
Hello?
Oh, she left?
She's here.
Hello.
Ah, there she is.
Hello?
Hello?
Austin, Texas. Yeah, we hear you. Yes.
Great. I don't know. I don't quite know what to ask.
Okay. How was your experience with Go ahead.
I got a lot of heat. I felt a lot of heat.
Mhm. Heat is a really good sign that energy is moving and flowing. In fact, your body may do one or the other. You may experience more heat or you may feel cooler. And in either case, you can accept that as a sign that energy is moving for you. And then just monitor how much energy you are ready to experience at any given time. If it feels like you're getting too hot, that's all right. Then it's time to rest and go into the silence, which is very cooling, by the way. Very cooling. The sacred feminine silence is the dark yin energy of the universe, and the heat is our yang or masculine energy coming up that is action oriented. So you're calling up this action, this flow of action in you, and that's beautiful. That's perfect. So just monitor it. You can get pretty hot.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Great question, too. Those are things that are very
Yeah.
important to watch as we're exploring energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much for calling in. And yeah, that was wonderful. All right, so let's invite a second caller. We have a caller from Kalamazoo. Phone number ending with 6350. Hello?
Hello.
Are you there? Hello.
Hi, my name is Melissa. Hi, Melissa.
Welcome, Melissa.
Hi, Lisa. This is. Can you hear me?
Just barely, but I missed your name. Please say it again.
Melissa.
Hi, Melissa.
I apologize for. I'm outside trying to be in the nature, and I was. All of a sudden, somebody started up a machine. I'm going to try and say that's a little better. Well, this is the most beautiful program. I just love this because it's answered so many questions of my own that I've had ever since I was little, and just how much I love sound and how good it feels. I did have a question for myself, but all of a sudden I'm with my son, and he just had a seizure, and I wanted to ask you, because that's kind of where my focus is at right now. Feeling-wise, what is there anything that we could, my voice is off. I haven't been well for a couple of weeks, but is there anything that could be sung to heal his soul, or I don't know. I don't know if you, I'm just kind of preoccupied with that because it just happened, and he cut his eye, and I was it was above his eye, and I was trying to wipe the blood up and everything, but I was just he's very connected, to nature. We both are, and we love the sounds of nature. But I just wonder, this has gotten a little more intense lately, his seizure, so that he's having difficulty going out or doing things because he's having them quite frequently. And I just wondered if there was anything that would be soothing. I was kind of listening to the last caller for a second, heat, and I wondered if, I don't know. You, because I really love this, and I love how you came upon it and what you shared. It's very resonating for myself as well. Just how so powerful.
I'm really hearing that there's a sound healer in you that's waking up, and that is in your empathy, which is, by the way, your compassion, your love, and empathy is where so much of the healing happens, regardless of our modality. But when we have a propensity or a desire to make a sound, it usually is a sound that will be helpful to those we love. That's what my mother taught me. That was her gift. And with your son, there are sounds that can be soothing to him. And that's what I would focus on, is what would be soothing and relaxing to him immediately. Now, when you're talking about a seizure, it's more likely going to be a cooling sound. That was something I learned from my elder, is that sometimes we don't want to act, when you do not want to activate the system any further, you want to calm the system, it's going to be softer and cooler sound. That just means hold that intention inside of you. In the case of seizures, just the one person that I was asked to work on who had seizures, I created a medicine song for her. It's like 20 minutes of sounds for her. They were all soothing, very soothing to the nature of the body and the spirit, both, because there's an integration that's trying to happen, both between the spirit and the physical, right? You can feel it. I know you can feel it with the seizure.
Yeah. As soon as you said that, yes, that's what I feel. It feels like an integration and almost like a downloading or an opening, and that something's trying to, integrate. And I just, so that makes so much sense, especially the soothing, to make it comfortable and welcoming, and yet I can also feel where the cooling, because the energy, there has to be a lot of heat to all of that, like a lot of fire going on there, that just, it's beautiful. So, are you recommending that, like, I get into a space and just kind of feel what comes to me with this information, and then just kind of let the sound flow to him, or?
Yes, exactly. When you're the healer, you want to align with the divine. Align your heart and your spirit with the divine, and be as trusting and restful as you know how to be. And then sing from that place, because that allows him to connect in with that energy and rest in it. He gets his strength from you when you're offering a healing sound like that. And pay attention if his body seems to be responding too much to the sound, like the seizure isn't releasing, it's getting more intense, then just stop and go into the silence, which is very powerful. That's a major piece that our students start working from, is actually silence. So powerful. And hold him in your compassion and your love. And that may be just all that he needs. So know that you have those two pieces to work with. The silence itself is an expression of your compassion and love. That's a place from which you can draw strength. Or comforting sounds, soothing, cooling sounds, maybe another source from which you can draw strength. Eventually, my dear, you may be able to help him find his own healing sounds. This is from spirit, because I'm tingling. His own healing sounds, to be able to comfort himself when he feels, and I can tell that he does, he's feeling some of the symptoms before he goes into the seizure. And the more that he can tune into that, the more that he can sing to himself and ask you to hold space for him, you may actually be able to prevent some of the seizures from happening.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. That was very lovely.
Oh, thank you.
That was helpful.
Oh, mother's love. That's powerful stuff. That's good healing energy. Yeah, I'm so glad you asked that.
Oh, oh gosh, just, that's all I can say, because it is, and it's, thank you. I'm feeling everything right now. It's like I feel the whole universe. I looked up at the sky and the top of the trees, and then just everything, and earth, and all at once. That was so beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you, Misa. Very blessed.
Thank you. That was really beautiful. I love her energy, and also the compassion that she has. It's really beautiful. And also, like, when you were talking about like how the sounds can even prevent the seizure from happening, that's really, really powerful. And it's really a great tool that we can use, like, for everything, for healing and different things. So yeah, thank you for sharing this with us.
Indeed, indeed. And well, Steph, I was also struck by the fact that she said she and her son spent a lot of time in nature.
Yeah.
One of the great healers that we forget about in our busy city lives, for sure.
Yeah.
And yet she's a powerful healer. So that's
Absolutely.
wise, very wise. Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, let's take a question from the webcast. We have Claire from Portland, Oregon. Hello, Monsef and Misa. Thank you both for this great call today. I am wondering about something. I often find myself humming random melodies that just pop up into my head. They are not from existing songs, but just melodic lines. Can Misa speak to this? Many thanks and blessings to both of you.
Oh, fun. So they could be one of two things or both. When songs just pop into your mind, particularly, well, not always, that's not true. I want to step back from that. They can be medicine songs. They can be the melodies that you're hearing that help you sustain yourself, help you move into greater states of awakening, Claire, and consciousness. And I'm hearing a lot of those songs are that way for you. I'm also hearing that you are accessing some melodies that are meant for others to hear. So there may be a songwriter in you that hasn't explored, oh, that gave me shivers, that hasn't yet fully explored the potential of what's there. So let me be the one to invite you to explore it. Because there's when I say medicine song or healing song, it isn't just about healing something that's broken. It's also the way in which we connect with the divine to uplift ourselves. Medicine song, in the way that I was taught, medicine song meant life force. A song about the life force. So you might just be with those and notice if there are some of them that feel like this is for you and only for you. And that's perfect. And there might be some others that keep popping up periodically that are meant to be shared for others. And for you, that may be a medicine song that wants to be born as a melody or an actual song with lyrics for others to hear. So when you hear those gorgeous sounds, they may indeed also be something that you can offer as service to others as well. See how that resonates, Claire. See how it feels as you sit with it.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. So yeah, Claire, we would love to hear your feedback. If you can just type it on the webcast page, and I will read it. All right, let's take another question. Let's see, where it is. We have a question from Benjamin. He's also having seizures. So, Misa, I have seizures that have never been affected by Western medicine. I am very connected to nature and love those sounds. I make bird sounds all the time. My seizures have gotten much more frequent and intense. Could sound help me with this? I would love some healing so I could engage in life once again.
Okay. Those are good questions, Benjamin. I love that you're connecting to the bird sounds. And I'm also hearing that you have some deep, deep sounds that are probably more soothing to your body, your brain, which is also something we talk about in a course that I teach, that the brain activity, I'm not stating this very well, I'm sorry. I'm not a doctor, you can tell. You probably figured that out. Okay, so when the synapses of the brain are firing too much, and there's something about them overreaching for you, they're having to work hard to make connections. the brain typically responds to very low, slow, gentle frequencies, about as low as your voice can go. I think what you're going to find is that if you're making the bird sounds, you particularly need balance with the lower frequencies. So, for example, with brain damage, when I've helped people, they'll be as low as could be that low. Or picked up grief. Sorry about that, darling. I didn't mean to go there with you, but should be a little bit of an idea about where you might take the sounds. And then again, just be with it a minute minimum, work yourself up to 3 minutes, and then be in the silence afterwards, preferably the same length of time that you were making the sound. So if you made the sound for 1 minute, go into the silence for 1 minute and notice what's happening in your brain. Notice what you feel shifting. You also have the gift of clairvoyance, like I did. The sound may actually trigger some sight for you to be able to see a little bit more about what's happening, what's being affected energetically as you're making the sounds. So for you, that's what I would recommend, my dear. Go to the low sounds for a while. And nature's excellent for you. Dirt, earth. Good. Your instincts are good.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you, Misa, and also thank you, Benjamin, for your question. And also, we'd love to hear back from you if you can just type in your feedback on the webcast page. And let me see. Yeah, we have Claire. She wrote a feedback. Thank you very much. That response from Misa is so amazing. Music always has been profoundly special in my life, and I often sing to my cats also. I truly love the idea that these seemingly random melodies may be healing in some way for both myself and for others. Thank you, Monsef, for asking my question. Deeply grateful, much gratitude, and many blessings. Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And there's a little extra note here. If you're singing to your cats, you probably noticed they don't like the higher pitched sounds. They like softer, medium sounds, and they don't like a lot of volume either. They have very sensitive ears, but I bet you've already figured that out. So good for you. You're already sharing your medicine gift with others. Awesome.
Beautiful. Thank you, Claire, and thank you so much, Misa, for that guidance. All right. Let's see. So maybe can we talk now? sorry, about the special offer, the sound healing course we are offering.
Yeah.
And because I think this is really great opportunity. So for our audience to learn how to do this, to learn more about this more deeply and do this on their own. So I would love if we can speak about that. And just want to share the link with our audience. It's yourdivineuniqueness.com/Misa, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Misa, MISA. Or you can simply click on the special offer button on the webcast page or the replay page. All right. So Misa, can you talk about that? Yeah.
Well, as we've been exploring, when you begin to work with sound, while it is profoundly simple, there are nuances in the way that we work with sound that can make a difference and make it easier and a more gentle journey. And I teach people about things like what you want to do when it's a headache, for example. That's a different kind of sound than when I cut my finger. That's a whole different sound than when I'm calling in the angels. So we want to develop a sense of, at least I did, and this is what I teach my students, is to develop a sense of intuitive awareness that allows you to go very deeply into the sound and get exactly the sound that is needed with your voice. So you're always carrying your medicine kit with you, right? You always have it. And also to have a deep relationship with the silence, because sound is born from the silence. And as we discussed, in some cases, silence is better. In others, Sound is better. We also want you, I like for people who are studying to have a deep relationship with their listening, with their auditory abilities. There are ways in which we can listen very deeply that allow us to hear inside the body, that allow us to hear nature at its subtle levels, that allow us to hear the nadas, or the sacred sounds that are the sounds of creation itself. So as we work with sound, what we're doing is we're purifying, we're doing our own emotional work, we're going deeper into our relationship with spirit, divine, as you know, the divine. However you know the divine is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So we honor that relationship and really give you an opportunity to explore very, very deeply. Now, I've been teaching healers, sound healers, for a long time, 20 years. When it was first coming out in our consciousness, at least here in the US, I was one of the early teachers. And I still am, and I'm so pleased that that gift has been given to me. I am a teacher by trade. I was an educator in my first career. So what I did was I took the sounds and the relationship to sound that was developing inside me, and as I worked with my clients and my students and my years of teaching, and put together a sound healing for wellness course. Don't want you to be too hung up on the name. Wellness is like wellness in general. Can be for health, but it can also be the wellness of your spirit. Yeah. You know, that place where we thrive and really know ourselves. So there are 12 lessons, very deep lessons. Plus we had 2 extras because when I taught this class, the participants were so involved and they had so many great questions and insights themselves that we added 2 more classes full of Q&A, deeper exploration. I share with you what I call the holding. This is a profound meditation that was given to me from my native tradition, and one of my native traditions. And this takes you deeply into yin energy, the capacity to be still with whatever is present and hold it so deeply, so lovingly, so compassionately, that whatever needs to shift naturally shifts without ever interfering in your space or another person's space. It's over 1,000 years old, this meditation, and it's amazing. So that's one of the gifts that I give along with the class. This meditation alone, by the way, a dear colleague and friend of mine used, and she did it, the meditation alone, in the silence for 3 months, and she ended 15 years of chronic genetic depression. Wow. Another client used this meditation for 1 week, manifested 3 new job opportunities for her husband. So it's amazing. I mean, it just is. So I get very excited when I get to share this with people. Plus the sounds themselves, you'll see on the page, people have healed from all kinds of conditions. They've gone in all kinds of chronic conditions, using sound, using what they've learned in the class. One woman healed her kidney. She was almost finished with it. The results were almost back to normal. Another woman healed chronic back pain. One woman went into a complete journey. That's not unusual. This woman wrote about it. Those profound visionary journeys where you're in deep, deep connection with the divine, really seeing yourself and your relationship. Those are the kinds of results that people report back to me. So these aren't dramatic results, by the way. These are just the things that they tell me they've experienced using the sounds in their own way, in their own discoveries, whether they're using it for healing for themselves, for higher states of awakening, for helping others heal. Maybe they are healers and they want to know they needed to access sounds to assist their clients, or like this beautiful mother on the line today, right? Who has a sound healing gift, who can feel it and wants to help her son. Oh my goodness, just so many beautiful people drawn to the sounds. And I promise you, it will be some of the deepest work you do. It just is. And we go there with lots of different exercises so you can use at home. Yeah. So, and the other beautiful thing about this is that my husband and I shared our business together, bringing healing gifts to the world, and we talked about it. Normally, this sells for $250, and we sell it regularly at that price. The only time on a telesummit, the lowest price I've ever brought you for that is $125, but you're special, Melissa, because we talked, we prayed about it, and we said, no, there are lots of people that need this. We want to take it down further. So we took it down to $99. So it's available at that price during your telesummit.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's really so generous, and for making it more affordable to our audience, because really this is very powerful work that so many like need to have, like to use on their own in their daily life, because really the results it's really amazing. And yeah, also what I love about this is this is something that we can do ourselves. When we learn it, like we can do ourselves, we become our own healer. So this is really the power of it. I really love it, and I don't know, because I'm for everything like which bring our own mastery and our own healing power, and your course, this is what it does. So yeah, I'm excited about it, and so happy that you are offering it to our audience. So, thank you.
I'm so glad to be able to do it. You know, years ago, you're right, we do heal ourselves. I was pleased to use it to heal MS and the sound and the silence. And so even for those chronic conditions that we're scared, there's nothing that's available. There is. We have ourselves, right? We have each other. So thank you, Melissa, for the opportunity to share this with everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Misa. It's really my great honor to be able to share your work with our audience, and also to have you here. It's such an honor and pleasure, and yeah, I really love all what you are doing. So thank you.
And thank you for your beautiful work in the world.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And yeah, so just I want to remind everyone about the link. It's yourdivineuniqueness.com/Misa, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Misa, MISA. Or you can simply click on the special offer button on the webcast page or the replay page. Can we take more questions, Misa?
Yes, I have some time. Yes.
Okay, great. Let me go there. Q&A. All right. We have a question from Betsy from Novato. Hi, Monsef and Misa. My husband is a musician and songwriter. He has been depressed. What sounds would be best for him?
Mm-hmm. With depression and as a songwriter, you might want to suggest to him, invite to him, that writing about the pain might be very good for him. I'm hearing he's done some songs. Maybe he hasn't brought them out as much. Some songs that reflect that depression and that pain. And he may even, oh, that's what it is. He has some melody lines he's already working with that are really good for releasing the grief. He might want to go a little deeper into his lyrics, because I have a feeling as he goes deeper into the lyrics, he's going to get more release. Sometimes you really do want to go into the words. And this is one where the words might help him release. Another thought that comes to mind is that once he's done some of the release work with the grief, he might want to write some songs, not necessarily for public consumption, though there are certainly artists doing it, but it's not the way I work, but some anger, just expressing the frustration and the anger. And it may or may not have lyrics at that point. But what I'm sensing is that he's writing some gorgeous music, by the way. He's really tapping into, the word I'm hearing is the divine concert that he hears inside of himself. very, very powerful. And I think what he will discover is that divine concert is going to get more robust, more expansive, as he finds some ways to lovingly, and the container is love, to lovingly express that grief and that anger through his music. So it's a beautiful question. And yeah, it's there. It's right there for him. It's really close. He's already started in that direction. So your love and support might just help him feel safer about doing that. And creating an environment at home where it's safe for him to do that. That might mean you have to go shopping or something for a while. Or go play somewhere. So he just has that creative space to do what he feels he needs to do musically without disrupting your harmony. Great question.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Misa. That's wonderful. And thank you, Betsy. Thank you. That's really wonderful. Wonderful question. All right. Let's take another one. Let's see. We have Michelle from Texas. She wrote, she's feeling intense reaction when talking to callers about song, writing, cold, goosebumps, movement around crowd. Could songwriting be something for me?
Oh, yes. Michelle, right?
Yes, Michelle.
Yeah. Especially with your crown buzzing. That's a very good sign that it's aligned with your purpose. So excellent question, excellent observation. That's impressive that you felt into that and drew that correlation. Absolutely. Playful for you. I don't know why I'm hearing the word playful, but see if that resonates for you, dear, as you go into song writing as a form of expression. See what playful manifests for you.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you again, Misa. And thank you, Michelle, for your question. Right, let's invite a caller. We have Randy from Selden. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Randy.
Okay. I'd like some sound healing. Learning to heal MS as a result of taking Levaquin and Cipro. You know, there's hundreds of thousands of people that are having the experience. So it's a big amp field that I'm shifting, as well as bringing myself more into alignment. There's a cell called the oligodendrocyte that expresses myelin, which is, you know, one of the ways that I understand to heal MS. Get that oligodendrocyte working again. In the meantime, it's basically a painful near-death experience. So where can you go from there? Thank you. I love you.
Thank you, dear. It's a great question. The first thing that came to me is actually not necessarily the sound, though I use sounds for my MS, and sounds are powerful, but first, before the sounds, you might want to experience the holding, that silent meditation. Being, what I saw was you wrapping your love and compassion in silence around those sounds and just sitting with them. Something opened up with your near-death experience. See if this resonates for you, where you're seeing more deeply than you've seen before. So your clairvoyance opened up, but also your experience of all of life as divine. Painful, but also powerful. There was an exposure there. Interesting. I wouldn't normally say the word exposure, but that's the word that I got for you. There was an exposure there. So being able to recognize those cells as divine and divinely released. so they can go on to their next incarnation, but not here. Not here. Then, as you're sounding into that space, and by the way, what I found emotionally behind MS that might be helpful for you, again, see if it resonates for you, was I really had a martyr syndrome. What we call it that now. Then it was much simpler. It was this sense of kind of the weight of the world on my shoulders of what I needed to do in this lifetime to help others, and feeling like I was the only one, which is true. You are the only one who does what you do. That is true. But I had it inflated, really, really big, the only one. So trying to embody too much God energy too fast through my ego, not through consciousness. So my practice, as I was listening to my own sounds, was to honor my specialness, honor the humanness, and honor what made me unique, so that the expression of the divine could come through a greater level of consciousness. And I'm hearing you understand this greater level of consciousness rather than what my ego might try to conform it into. So specialness was important, and to honor it in the sound. That was where the first few layers of sound, and by the way, what I meant when I say worked with sound, I worked 3 times a day. I meditated and I listened to my sound medicine. And I progressed through 3 different recordings that I made for myself to move through the layers as they were releasing. And the other one that I think is becoming really important with what we're learning about autoimmune conditions is also singing to and honoring the gut, where the whole immune system is centered, right? That's where things tend to go awry, is in our guts, and the very strange foods we've been eating for a long, long time, the exposure to chemicals and toxicity, and we're digesting life, but we're having to digest a lot emotionally and physically that is overwhelming to the body. So one of the places you might also attend to with the holding, the silence, and the sound is your gut, and calling it to its prime and optimal state of health. And that's it, other than to really...
I get the still point.
Yeah, I knew you would.
I understand the silence in my heart. And for me to understand the silence and the still point in my gut, I've been raising my awareness of my vagus nerve and how to clear that and detach from, what's popular, let's say, rather than naming it as other things. To be aware of my silence, my still point, bring my awareness into my gut. I'm not yet experiencing much consciousness as I know it in the heart. I'm not yet experiencing as much as I'd like of that below the heart.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful awareness, Randy. Beautiful. And as you work with the sounds, they'll take you into the silence. That's the gift. They are in a cycle always. So it's whether you choose to stay centered in that silence or let the sounds carry you into the silence with your gut, with those chakras that are digesting life for us. That's a powerful awareness. That's the place to be. Beautiful. And I do bow to your near-death experience. Very, very powerful to go to those places. So I honor you for your journey.
I do understand what you said about letting go of the ego, and it's comes through my clairs as there's just a knowing that you don't have to really strive to. You're going through this type of thing, and you just know that the things that are beyond equation that you can't really show anybody or prove to anybody. All those limiting beliefs that are relative to the ego don't serve, as well as accepting oneness with all that is and focusing on self-love and compassion. Yet, for that to meaningfully articulate healing in my oligodendrocytes and the rest of my nerves, that's where I seek to be and am finding my way on my journey. Thank you for your consideration.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome, Randy. It's true. It's the earthing of that knowledge into our bodies, right down into the cells. It's the grand journey. Shedding the ego and grounding the divinity into our bodies. Still doing it. I'm still here. I bet a lot of us are thinking the same thing, right? I'm still here. I'm still doing it.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Randy, for calling. Really, thank you. God bless you. And yeah, also, Misa, thank you so much for your guidance. That was really wonderful. All right, Misa, we still have maybe 15 minutes. Can we take one more caller?
Yeah, let's do it. These are great questions. You have people on this video call that are doing very deep work.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, so we have a caller from Eureka, California. Phone number ending with 0163. Hello?
Hi, Misa. This is Rich, and I'm on Rich as in Richard. I have never seen anyone in my family be joyful, even cheerful, and that includes me. I occasionally have some release, and when I'm doing transcendental meditation, I get into a state which feels really good, but bringing that into life is not fully happening, to understate the case. So I was wondering if there's any sound healing you could do right now, or any guidance.
Really
I'm 70, so it's been a long time of not seeing any joy.
It's about time, isn't it?
Talking
Feeling that, aren't you? I could feel that. Yeah. And did I catch your name correctly, Rick?
Rich is what I'm going by now. Richard might be, is my childhood name.
I got it. It's interesting at the beginning of each call, sometimes
Rick in between.
break up for me, so I apologize, but I just wanted to be sure.
Oh no, it's fine. Yeah, I went by Rick for about 30 years.
Okay. All right. So Rich, it is. Names are important. Names are carrying vibrational frequency for us. I'm sure that's part of why you decided to shift it. It was a different frequency. You know, I was talking with a client the other day, and she was saying, as so many of us do, but I haven't felt that yet. How am I supposed to create it? And what was so beautiful about that awareness is that's how we feel. It's like, if I've never experienced it, how the heck do you experience it, right? And yet all acts of creation are acts of creation into the unknown for you in this moment. Someone else might know it, but for you to experience it, it's in the unknown. So what we do to open up to the unknown is to release the barriers to that. And it sounds like you have a meditation practice that's been allowing you to do that. Is that right? To get to some moments of peace? Excellent. All right. So,
well, it just doesn't seem real or wise. I mean, it's dangerous to be joyful. I mean, my mother was manic depressive, so I've seen mania, but that's not joy.
No, it's not. But I would bet there's a part of your psyche that is wondering about that, you know, but joy could be dangerous. Could be dangerous. So when you are sounding or meditating, What you may want to ask for is just the right guide. Just the right guide. It might be a person, might be an angelic guide, might be your child self, your healed and whole child self. It might be a warrior, but might be a mother figure. But that guide that will hold space. Oh, I'm sorry. It took me a long time to get to that. It's a power animal, love. There's a power animal that can hold that space for you. And so that when you get to the place where you're peaceful and you feel that block or resistance to going any further, to going beyond it, that's the point at which you want to let your sounds glide upward a little bit, get lighter in heart and feeling, and ask that guide to come hold that space with you, maybe even make that sound with you, so that you can make a sound that is joyful. And here's the key. Hold on, I want to get the right place. For you, from the solar plexus. You want it to come up from the solar plexus through your heart and out. So if it comes from there, it's more likely to break through the barriers, the psychological barriers, and move into a place where it is happy. And I would not reach for joy yet. Reach for pleasing. Reach for some word. Delightful, happy. I don't feel like I'm getting it yet. There's a word for you. Might not even make sense. Might even come from your subconscious. It might just be bird, you know? That is a sound that when you think of it, it evokes a sense of joy from other times, other moments, or a sense of pleasure. Pleasure is the closest word. For most of us, we move from a sense of peace to pleasure, to a greater sense of happiness, to joy, to bliss. So sometimes what's happening is we're setting our sights so high, we feel like we'll never get there. For some of us, that's necessary. That's the only way we ever will get there. For you, I sense it's more like moving from peace to pleasure and allowing that power animal to help hold that space for you. And notice that power animal in your life, or spend time watching videos about it, or if if it's a power, it'll come to you, by the way, as you think about it. As you sit in meditation, it'll just come. If you invite it, it'll come, and it will show you the way to that greater sense of pleasure, and then on until it's joyful. Sorry, it took me a little while to get all the pieces for you. That didn't sound too strung out. Did it make sense? Were you able to grab that, Rich?
Well, certainly pleasure would be wonderful. That's something else I block.
Yeah.
But that's
But you laugh, and just that is a great place to start. Maybe it's just laughter. As much as you can laugh at, you want to laugh, and you want the laughs to get bigger and heartier. That's a beautiful journey to joy and bliss. It's fabulous.
Yeah, laughter takes too much energy.
It does, doesn't it? It does. But it also gives energy. That's the good news. Yeah, laughter's powerful. Yeah. Not to be underestimated at all. Yeah. Good for you. Good for you for wanting to experience something in the unknown. You will. You will. As you focus on it, you will.
Oh, thank you, Misa.
Yeah.
I've been very impressed by this call. It's the first time I actually listened to you.
Or not. Whatever works for you. It's your guidance that matters. Always your guidance that matters the most. Indeed. Thank you, Rich.
Beautiful. Thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you so much for calling me. Much blessings.
You're welcome.
That was really amazing. Really, thank you so much, Misa, for for your guidance. That was really powerful, and I love the guidance that you gave him. And I'm sure like it will also answer some of other questions, other listeners that are also listening. So thank you so much, Lisa. And yeah, so really it was really such a wonderful call with you, Misa, and such an honor to have you with us, to learn from you. Really, we learned great things today from you, and also discovered like how we can on our own really like do like deep healing and great transformation with sacred sounds. And this is something that is very important. And I'm so glad that we could have you on the show and learn that from you. And also I invite our audience to go even deeper and learn to do this by themselves and take advantage of the course that we are offering. And a reminder, so you can get there by clicking on the special offer button on the webcast or the replay page, or you can visit the link yourdivineuniqueness.com/Misa and number, without number, and Misa. So yourdivineuniqueness.com/Misa, MAMISA. And yeah, so Misa, really thank you so much for everything, for the course, for your time you spent with us, and for the wisdom you shared with us. So really thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me today. And thank you for your beautiful work in the world. And thank you everyone who called in. Just what fabulous questions and powerful journeys. And if there was just even a little bit of help, then that's wonderful. Then we've uplifted each other, haven't we? That's what it's all about. So again, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Misa. And I really feel that I'm so blessed to be part of my beautiful community, because really I feel they reach like really high level, high vibration, and in their journey, and there are so many things that we also can learn from them and from my connection with them. Like beside the show, it's really I feel that they reach really so deep, some very deep levels, and I'm so honored to be part of them. And yeah, so thank you again, Misa, and thank you everyone for being here today. Really thank you for sharing with us your time, sharing with us your energy, and this space, sacred space with us. And so yeah, I'm sending you so much love, and I see you on the next call. Bye bye, everyone.